For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Exodus 28. Remember that it is a sign between me and the Lord that he rested on the seventh day, and he was refreshed, and the sign meant a mark. So God has a mark, it is the Sabbath. We must understand God's mark, His sign, His seal. We went through this in Revelation chapter 13. And the Lord delivered to me 2 tablets of stone written with the finger of God. They were not to be messed with. Deuteronomy 9 verse 10. So God's seal, God's mark is in the heart of His law. It's the Sabbath. And it gives authority, as we have said, to the whole law. Now, are we saved by keeping the law? No, let's get this quite clear. But without keeping the law, will we be saved? No. See, we always ask the counter question as well. Now the point is this. If we are not saved by keeping the law, then how are we saved? By grace. Grace saves us. 100%. Grace saves us. We are saved by grace. So, if I now keep the law, what am I acknowledging by keeping the law? I'm acknowledging a higher authority than myself. Is that correct? If I keep the law, I am acknowledging a higher power than myself. And if I keep it exactly like He said, I'm acknowledging His authority. Is that correct? So whose righteousness am I acknowledging? Jesus's. So don't think that by saying keep the law, you are legalistic. No. In actual fact, by keeping the law, if you do it right, you are propagating righteousness by faith. Because you are acknowledging His superiority in your life. You are acknowledging your dependence upon Him. And you come in line with His wishes. Because you are acknowledging His fullness of understanding. Does that make sense? So, by not accepting man's laws, but accepting God's laws, I acknowledge my dependence upon Him. And I accept His righteousness by faith. So, the mark of the beast message involves righteousness by faith and obedience as a consequence. As simple as that. But the Lord, Creator, heaven and earth, that's His stamp, His name, His title, His territory. I gave them my Sabbaths as a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am the Lord that sanctifies them. So where does your righteousness come from? From Him, not from me. This is righteousness by faith. So the third angel's message is righteousness by faith in verity. Absolutely. It could be construed as legalism if you wanted to. But in actual fact, what you are doing by keeping the law, if you understand it correctly, is acknowledging a higher power. And it will be, if you will listen carefully to my commandments, which I command you today, to take heed to yourselves, that your heart may not be deceived, and you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. Therefore you shall lay up these my words in your hearts and in your souls, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, so that they may be frontlets between your eyes. Deuteronomy 11, 13, 20. So we act accordingly, we think accordingly. And the mark of the beast, Sunday is our mark of authority. Well, they say it themselves. The church is above the Bible, and this transference of the Sabbath observance is proof of that fact. Catholic Record, September 1, 23. She took the pagan Sunday, she made it the Christian Sunday. The pagan Sunday, dedicated to Balder, became the Christian Sunday, sacred to Jesus. And she acknowledges it. She says, of course, the Catholic Church claims that the change was her act, and the act is a mark of her ecclesiastical power. So it's not a question so much of a day as it is of authority. If I obey this system, I am exalting human laws, and basically I'm saying I'm getting my sanctification from whom? From the church. And that's what she wants. No church can give me sanctification. Not even the one that I'm in. No church can give me sanctification. Only Jesus Christ can give me sanctification. That's it. No one else. The Bible says, remember that thou keep holy the Sabbath day. The Catholic Church says, no. By my divine power I abolish the Sabbath day and command you to keep holy the first day of the week. And lo, the entire civilized world bows down in reverent obedience to the command of the Holy Catholic Church. Father Enright, American Sentinel. They're pretty arrogant about it. Pretty arrogant about it. So, who do I acknowledge? The earthly powers or the heavenly powers? That's the question. Choose thee whom you want to acknowledge. God or man? The power of sanctification through God or the power of sanctification through man, which leads to death? Because how can man save you? Pope Pius, 1566, commanded the Council of Trent, pleased the Church of God, that the religious celebration of the Sabbath day should be transferred to the Lord's day. Catechismus Romanus. And unfortunately, all the world wanders after the beast. So the third angel's message is, do not acknowledge man's law superior to God's law. The test will be the Sabbath. Might they put a microchip into your hand? Maybe. Maybe to control your buying and selling. But a chip is not your character of allegiance. What your character of allegiance is obedience to God's commandments. They must be on your forehead and on your hand. The Catholic Church is happy if it's on your hand or your forehead. There's a subtle difference there. The Bible says in Deuteronomy, bind it as frontlets between your eyes and your hand. But the mark of the beast is in the forehead or the hand. Why that subtle difference? Because the Catholic Church is satisfied if you keep it because you are convinced it's right, but it's also satisfied if you do it because you have to, without acknowledging anything. Just being obedient is good enough. Well, it's not good enough. You be obedient to God. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Revelation 14.